don't always tell you, but you look amazing. Shit. Everything great, everything right, yeah, you look amazing.
What's good, YouTube? It's your girl Destiny Nicole back with another video. Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, then please welcome to my channel. Today, as you guys can see by the title, I'm going to be going back to some more pharmacy videos, and today I'm going to be talking about some things that I personally wish that I would have known before I made my decision to become a pharmacist and ultimately go to pharmacy school. Now, just a disclaimer before I start this video, I am not unhappy with my decision to go to pharmacy school. I'm very happy with my career choice, and because I just know my purpose. I know what God set me on this earth for me to do, so I know that pharmacy is the career choice for me. But it just would have been helpful beforehand if I would have known some of these things just to better prepare for school and just for my future career. So hopefully these tips that I'm going to share, or these things that I wish I would have known, can be helpful to you if you are thinking about going to pharmacy school as well. So without further ado, let's just get right to it. Okay, so number one thing that I wish someone would have told me before going to pharmacy school: this is hard. Like, let's just put it like that, sis. And and I'm not saying that I expected this to be easy. Like, obviously not. It's graduate school, it's professional school. Like, it's obviously not going to be easy. So that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I wish someone would have told me like exactly how it's going to be hard, because I had multiple people come up to me that I was talking to about it. Like, my stepmom is a nurse, or other pharmacists that I've known. They just say, oh yeah, it's gonna be hard, yeah, it's gonna be hard, that was the hardest thing I ever had to do. But no one literally told me how. Like, it's hard for me to really process it if you don't tell me how it's hard. That's what I wanted someone to really explain to me, and no one could really say. They just like, oh, it's just hard. Like, okay, sis. So like, it would have just been helpful to me if someone would have told me, okay, well, your first year is going to be hard because you're taking the most classes, and it's just going to be a lot coming at you at one time. It's going to be more overwhelming than anything. That's what I wish someone would have told me. Or your P2 year is going to be hard because that's when you really get into your therapeutic classes. So you're going to be seeing a lot of different drugs, a lot of different disease states that you might not be familiar with. So it's just going to be hard in that nature, and you're going to be taking tests like literally every week. That's that's the type of information that I needed to hear. I needed someone to really break it down to me. This is how it's going to be hard, and this is why, and this is how you can overcome that. So yeah, basically, had someone done that for me, I probably would have been prepared more for pharmacy school. Not saying that I did bad or anything, because that's definitely not the case, but I just feel like I would have been more prepared or more ready for the year had someone really breaking that down and explained that to me personally. And every program is different, so I don't know if my program is the same as every other pharmacy school program. Odds are probably not. Maybe first year is the hardest at other schools, but I know at my school, P2 year is like death. So I just wish someone would have really explained that to me. Number two, networking. Like, networking is almost, I'm not saying it's more important than getting good grades, but if you don't network, it's almost like those good grades really aren't gonna mean that much, which is sad. Like, obviously you want to come to pharmacy school and you want to get good grades. I'm not saying you want to be top of the class, but you also don't want to be at the bottom either. You want to succeed in pharmacy school, and you want to get good grades and want to look great on paper. But part of looking great, a big part of looking great on paper, is the networking that you do. What connections do you have? Who do you know? As much as I hate to really say it, pharmacy, really succeeding in pharmacy, it really comes down to who you know. If you don't come into pharmacy school and make the connections with, whatever field you want to go into, like if you want to go into, I don't know, industry, and if you aren't making any connections with any other pharmacies, any other pharmacists in industry or any of these companies, it's when you graduate, it's going to be hard for you to really get into it. Like, you can't just get A's and expect to just, slide right in the field. Like, you really have to build those connections. And that's something that really nobody told me. Like, I had no clue networking was as big of a deal as it was. Because, I was thinking, as long as I get good grades, as long as I get these A's like I always do, I'll be good. I'm smart. Who finna really turn down, good grades? But they really will. If they don't know you, they're not familiar with who you are as a person, they will pass up on the straight A student for someone who has been invested with the company, has taken the time to reach out to them, taken the time to, do internships, or just talk to the pharmacist, do the whole nine. They will choose that student, someone who's more well-rounded, someone who has built those connections, built those bridges, as opposed to someone who is just got the A's on paper but didn't talk to nobody, didn't build those connections, didn't network. So networking is a really, really, really big part of pharmacy, probably for any other field as well, but I know for pharmacy it plays a really major role into what you're going to be doing after graduation, how far you're going to go, how successful you're going to be. If you know the right people, you can really succeed in the pharmacy world. Like, for me, trying to do pediatrics, I know certain, professors and stuff who are, in the pediatric field. So my goal for my whole third year is just really building those networking connections. So I'm going to be reaching out to them like crazy, trying to set up meetings with them and, just do the whole nine, trying to, maybe reach out and get in contact with other pediatric pharmacists. I just got hired to work in a pediatric pharmacy as, like a pharmacy student, as an intern. So that's like the first step, I feel like, really getting me in the door of actually working in a pharmacy, in a pediatric pharmacy, and, talking with those pediatric pharmacists. But, I don't want to just stop there. I want to reach out to any pediatric pharmacist that I can. So that's going to be really my major goal for my third year, is just really building those strong networking connections, getting my name out there, and just, really building myself up, letting people know I'm serious about this. This is where I want to be. Can you please help me? Pretty much, that's really what it comes down to. You have to reach out to them. They're not going to come seeking you. They know there's a million of other students that want to go into industry. They know that there's a million other students that want to go into managed care. There's a million other students that want to do this and do that. So if you don't reach out to them, they're not going to be like, hey, I heard you're interested in peds. You want to come work with me? No, like they don't care that much. Like, to be honest, you have to do it yourself. So networking that almost needs to be as high up on the list just as getting good grades are. So the third thing that I wish I would have known before making my decision to come to pharmacy school is the pharmacy world is getting pretty saturated. Like, the pharmacy market is getting pretty saturated. Like, and what I mean by it's getting saturated, I mean that there's more pharmacy students graduating than there are jobs available. And and I don't say this to scare anybody away from the pharmacy field. Like, if you know pharmacy is for you, then go for it. God is the only person that can tell you no. But however, it might not be as easy as you think to get a job, or it might not be as easy as you think to get the job that you necessarily want. Like, you might get a job, but it might not be the particular one that you want coming right out of pharmacy school, because a lot of new pharmacy schools are being built and being opened at different universities, So there's just a lot of students coming out right now, and the demand for pharmacists just isn't as high as it was about 10, 20 years ago. Back then, they needed pharmacists. So, it wasn't a problem that more and more people were going to pharmacy school. But now that they're kind of satisfying, filling these positions, but we still have this large amount of students going into schools, large amount graduating and coming out looking for positions, it gets kind of hard. So, and if someone would have told me that, like, when I made the decision to go to pharmacy school, my sophomore year of undergrad, had someone told me that, I probably wouldn't have changed my mind, because like I said, I knew at that point pharmacy was for me. That was what I wanted to do, and nobody but God was going to tell me no. And at this point in time, God hasn't told me no. So it probably wouldn't have changed my decision, but it just would have been helpful to know, so that way I could have known that, okay, when I come to school, I know that this job market might be a little tough, so I need to just go even harder to make myself even that more competitive, so that way when it is time for me to start applying for jobs or applying for residencies, I just look amazing on paper, and then when I come and do my interview, I'm just amazing in person as well. So yeah, just a little thing that would have been helpful to know. Like I said, it wouldn't have changed my decision, and I hope that, you finding this out, that the pharmacy market is saturated, that if you are interested, I hope it doesn't change your mind either, because like I said, he's the only person that can tell you no. Can't nobody else tell you no if it's truly meant for you. If you know that you have the skills, the talent, and the work ethic to succeed in this field, please go for it. Because, you never know. Number 4, working experience in a pharmacy does help. When I came into pharmacy school, I had never worked as a pharmacy technician, or had never done any type of pharmacy job ever. I just went into it pretty blind almost. And all of the upperclassmates, they were like, oh, you'll be fine. It doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, it's not like the people who have worked as a pharmacy technician before are going to have the upper hand. It really doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. You're all still coming in at pretty much at the same level. Lie. Like, the lies, literally the lies. I'm not saying that if you worked as a pharmacy technician before, you're going to be, top of the class, because that's definitely not the case. I've seen some of my classmates who have worked as a pharmacy technician for years and still struggle with the classes. So I'm not saying that it would have made a huge difference. However, for one of my classes, it's our abilities lab class, we have drug quizzes like once a month over a certain amount of drugs. It might be like 20, 25 drugs each quiz. And they're pretty popular drugs. They're like top 200, I think, or top 300. I think it's top 200 drugs. And then they just divide it over these quizzes, each and every year. If you work in a pharmacy, you're going to come across these drugs, if not every shift that you work, every other shift. You're going to know these drugs. And if you've worked in the community pharmacy for an extended period of time, you're going to know what they're used for, because, you're just going to see it so often. And often patients, when they come in, they'll be like, oh, can you fill my blood pressure medication? Like, they won't know the name of it themselves. So if you've worked in the pharmacy for months and for years, you're going to know, okay, these medications are for blood pressure. This is for, their heart, or this is for diabetes. Like, you're just going to become familiar with it just from working there. And work experience, particularly for my program, would have been helpful specifically for those drug quizzes, because I'm not saying that those drug quizzes were necessarily easy or they were hard, but if you worked in a community pharmacy, you could have not studied for those quizzes and still got an A on it, because even if you didn't study it and know the material, if you saw a question about, let's say like a diabetes medication, like a certain type of insulin, like Lantus. Let's say you didn't study like you were supposed to, and there was a question about Lantus on the quiz. You could probably finesse it. You could probably finesse the answer to that question just from working in a community pharmacy, knowing that Lantus is for diabetes, knowing that this is a long-acting insulin that they usually take right before they go to bed. Like, if you work in a community pharmacy, you can pick up on those things, and it just makes it easier just a little bit to maneuver through pharmacy school. So, like I said, I'm not saying that working would have made a huge difference, because you can still struggle even if you worked as a pharmacy tech for 5-10 years. You can still struggle. But in certain classes, it kind of helps, because you probably already have that information engraved in your brain, and you probably just don't even realize it until it comes up on the test, and you'd be like, oh, when I was at work last week, I saw that, or this came up and I asked my pharmacist a question about it and he answered it. Now I know the answer to it. You know what I'm saying? So working experience can play a part in helping you succeed just a little bit in pharmacy school. So the fifth and final thing that I wish I would have known before coming to pharmacy school is make friends, but not with everybody. Be selective with who you surround yourself with. I cannot stress that enough. I'm not really going to get into the situation of why I say that, but just know that I am an out-of-state student. So I grew up in St. Louis. That's where I am originally from, but I decided to go to pharmacy school halfway across the country in Maryland. So obviously I'm coming into pharmacy school not knowing anyone. I mean, literally no one. I didn't know not a soul on the first day. So, and I think because of that, I made a decision with myself personally to try to be a better person. You know, I told myself, you know, Destiny, you're normally a pretty quiet, you know, to yourself kind of person, but if you come to this new school halfway across the country and try, you know, and be like that, you might not make friends. And, you know, obviously I want to make friends, you know, I want to be liked, you know, not saying that I want to be, you know, liked by everyone, because that's not the case. I don't care that much, but you know, I definitely do want to make friends that I can, you know, go through this whole 4-year process with, and, you know, just to help motivate me and help me get through it. So I made a decision with myself that I was going to try and come into pharmacy school being as open as I possibly can, you know, not have my guard up, try and at least have a conversation with everyone, you know, with all of my classmates, and, you know, just try and make friends, try to be outgoing, you know, really just be outside of the box that I normally put myself in. Because, you know, for y'all that don't really know me, I'm a very observant person, you know, I'm a very kind of quiet, kept back, you know, I like to keep to myself and observe the people that come around me. Like, you know, the first 2-3 times a person comes around me, I can tell from that moment if we're gonna click or not. You know, I don't really give you a month or two, you know, I just know, like, my intuition be spot on. From those first few interactions, I'm gonna watch you to see how you move. I'm gonna watch to see how you talk about others. You know, I'm really gonna be observing you, sis. And if I get any off vibe, I'm just like, I don't know, you know, we can be acquaintances, we can be cool, but, you know, I'm not gonna be in her circle, you know, I don't really think I'm gonna vibe with her like that. But like I said, because I was out of state, because I didn't want to seclude myself, I didn't want to keep myself in this box, I tried to be open and tried to make friends, and I ultimately think I ended up making friends with people that I normally would not have. You know, I ignored those signs that I got because I'm like, okay, I don't really just want to shut her off because, you know, she's nice, you know, she do this that I don't really like, you know, that I normally wouldn't click with, that I normally wouldn't vibe with. But, you know, it's pharmacy school, you know, it's time for you to grow as a person, you know, be accepting of everyone, talk to everyone. And mistake number one, I just let people in my circle that I would not have on a regular basis, and ultimately it came back to bite me in the butt. But you know what? Lesson learned. Now I know, don't change nothing about me, you know, pretty much. You know, some people are meant to just be folks that you say hi and bye to, you know, how you doing, how's your day going, and that's it. And that's okay. Me telling y'all this is not to discourage you from making friends. If you're a naturally outgoing person and you just naturally like to talk to everyone, you just naturally like to click with everyone, then by all means do you. Don't change yourself up. But, you know, I just think you have to be careful with, you know, befriending everyone, because not everybody is going to be your friend. Like I said, not everybody is going to have your best interest. Not everybody is going to have your back. Not everybody is going to uplift you and motivate you. That is key. Surround yourself, when you go to pharmacy school or any other type of professional school, graduate school, whatever, surround yourself with people who want you to do better. Surround yourself with people who want to do better themselves. Because if you surround yourself with people with like a nonchalant attitude, if you surround yourself with people who don't really care about succeeding, you know, they just there to pass type attitude, that's gonna start rubbing off on you. So you just need to surround yourself with positive people, people who actually want to do good themselves, because then that's going to motivate you to want to do better. So, and normally if you surround yourself with those type of people, you won't have no problems. You know, if you surround yourself with uplifting, motivated people, it should go smoothly. But when you start surrounding yourself with them other, you know, lazy, nonchalant type people, that's when the problems arise. So, you know, make friends, but be selective, is all I'm saying. So that concludes my little spiel on the 5 things that I wish I would have known before coming into pharmacy school. Obviously, there's more that I didn't cover, but those 5 are like the big major key points that anyone thinking about coming in pharmacy school should really know. You know, you should know that it is hard, very hard. It's not going to be easy at any point in time. You should know that networking plays a big role into you getting into your desired field after you graduate. You should know that the pharmacy market is becoming saturated, so that's just something that you need to pay attention to and prepare for. You should know that not everybody is going to be a friend, not everybody's going to have your best interests at heart. And you should know that job experience working in a pharmacy beforehand can be helpful in the end. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you have anything to comment on any of the points that I made or any new suggestions for any new videos, please comment those down below. Please let me know anything else that you want to see. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. More videos will be coming soon, and I will see you guys next time.